Hi, I'm Craig Gilchrist, Chief Technology Officer at BeamXR, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create game trailer videos from standalone builds at 1080p directly from the headset using our Unreal Recording SDK. So I'm going to jump straight in. We're going to have a couple of steps. The first one is we're going to get a key and secret from our portal. It's completely free to do and it's really quick. Then I'm going to drop in our plugin from GitHub, configure the plugin and show you how to pop in some UI quick and dirty to get those trailers out. We're going to do this in under 20 minutes, the entire thing end to end. It's really easy to implement. So let's jump over. First thing we're going to do is you want to head to developers.beamxr.io, create your account if you don't already have one, and then create an experience. It's really easy to do. Just hit this button and it gives you a key and secret to start with. Then you're going to want to head over to GitHub and BeamXR-io and go to our repositories and get the io.beamxr.unreal.recording and pull the latest release. Grab that zip and unzip it. And then for this one, I'm going to show you with a brand new project. I'm going to use the virtual reality template. Leave it named My Project. I'm trying to do this in one take as quickly as possible, show you how easy it is to get started and get going. So this project's created now. I'm just going to close it and I'm going to open the project location. I'm going to create a new folder called plugins. You're likely to already have plugins at this point. I'm going to copy this GitHub folder into the plugins, and I shouldn't have shut that. Let me open it again. I'm going to open the project again. Okay, step one then is to go to the project settings. You should have a BeamXR SDK folder now. Copy your key and your secret in. Set that as the default. And we're ready to go. Our recording manager runs as an engine subsystem. So you can wire up the start, stop. You've got complete control over when the recordings start, when they stop, the camera angles and everything. You can record cine cameras or normal cameras. All of that is available to you. But to make it really easy, we've also given you this director camera blueprint and a camera preview blueprint. So I'm going to drop in the director camera blueprint now. I'm going to set its initial view to be static and let's keep it looking at the target. I'm going to move this to just a location that seems sensible. Let's move it to about here. Okay. So you're going to want to set a couple of properties on this. I'm going to move my head so that you can see those properties. So the first thing is the targets. So we have two types of target, a debug target, which is what it looks at in the editor in design time. So I'm going to set that to the player start, and that will always look at the player start during design time. And then we have the target that it will look for in runtime. Again, if you use the engine subsystem, you would wire this yourself. This one gives you an opportunity to just choose the type that it will find. So I know this one uses a VR pawn, this template, and inside that VR pawn there is a camera component, and that is going to be our scene component that we use as our target. You can also set a object attached target for when the look type is when the camera view is object attached. I'll choose an object. I'll choose this sphere because it's the only sphere in there. Let Maybe it's not called sphere. Let's have a look. It's called ball. So let's choose that ball. That can be our object attachment target. And then just to show you where the camera positions. So this is our static position. First person, it's going to be, it moves the camera to where the player start is or where your actual target is at runtime. Third person is going to be a position around that, depending on rotation and other bits and pieces. Static, we've already seen. An object attached, you can see it's now attached to that ball. And the look type then also depends on where the camera's targeting. So direction is the world rotation for the target. Distance is a distance in front of the target, which you can see with the look distance. Static will always be the point of either that only works on static or object attached. And it's just the position, the forward position of the object itself. And target will always look directly at the target itself. Okay, so we're going to keep those. We'll put that back to static and we'll look at the target again as our default. So that's pretty much everything you need to do to get the camera in. The next step is to wire up the start and stop controls. This template already has a blueprint with a widget menu in, which starts when you press the menu button on a Quest controller. So I'm just going to hijack this one. Just going to drop the preview in so that you can see it. And to do that, I'll use a size box. We'll pop that into our menu. And I'm going to override the size to be something similar to a 1080p. So we'll do 20% of 1920. Nope, that's 200%. 1920 times 0.2 and 20% of 1080. Great. And in there, I'm going to add our widget preview. Our preview widget. Widget camera preview, it's called. Okay. I'm going to copy one of these buttons. I'm going to call it toggle preview button. And that'll turn our preview on and off. We'll have one for toggling our camera viewpoint and one for starting and stopping the recording. Toggle view. Let's call this one toggle recording button. Let's change the text on each of those. Toggle recording. Toggle viewpoint. And toggle preview. All right, that's our menu done for this demo. Let's wire up each of those buttons. We'll do on pressed on that one and toggle recording on pressed and toggle view on pressed. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, our actual recording manager runs as an engine subsystem. So the way to get that, right click and look for the BeamXR recording manager, and that will give you our engine subsystem. The subsystem does tell you if it's recording. It doesn't tell you if the preview's showing. So let's do a quick variable called preview enabled. The preview is not enabled by default. We don't want to consume any extra resources than we need to. So I know that this actual menu gets constructed every time you open and close it. So we'll set that to false to start with. And then we'll say on the toggle preview button, we'll branch on whether it's already visible. So if it's visible, we're going to want to hide the preview. And if it's invisible, we're going to want to show the preview. So let's do start preview on that. So if it's visible, we start the preview, and sorry, if it's visible, that's the wrong way around. Let's break that line. Let's move that one down there. And that one up there. So if it is visible, we're going to stop the preview. And we'll set the preview enabled to false. And if it is visible, if it's not visible, we'll start the preview and we'll set this to true. Okay. The one thing the camera recording manager requires is a camera component or a cine camera component in most of its methods. So I'm going to do a quick function, and I'm going to call this a get director camera. I'm going to make this a pure function, and I'm going to add two outputs. One will be our director camera, which is kind of the container for the camera component, and one will be the camera component itself. Let's make a camera component there, and then this one will make director camera. So I know that this is going to be in the scene, so let's do get actor of class. So it's going to be in the map, and that will be our director camera, and that will be our return value here. And this has a camera component, so we can get camera. Actually, I think it's a component, so we'll just do camera. There you go. Right, that's our function. So let's use that here. Get director camera, and we'll use our camera component this time. So I'm just going to quickly simulate this. Not simulate, sorry. I will quickly debug this. So if I now do toggle preview, we should see the camera component, which is up there, which I can wave to. Okay, so that's turning on our preview. Next step is to start and stop our recordings. So let's wire up the toggle recording button. So the engine subsystem doesn't tell us if a preview is showing, but it does tell us if it's already recording. So let's do is recording, and let's branch on that. So if we are recording, we're going to want to stop. And if we're not recording, we're going to want to start. So we are, this one, if it's true, we'll call stop recording. And if it's false, we're going to call start recording. We've got recording camera and recording cine camera. See, we want the camera one for this. And again, we want the component camera that we want to record. So the viewpoint we want to record. And we've got options for the frames per second and the resolution, both landscape and portrait resolution. So I'm going to choose 1080p at 60 FPS and the file name suffix. So for this one, I'll just call it my vid.mp4. When you're running in the editor or you're running in on Windows, that will be stored in the save directory. When you're running directly as an Android build on a MetaQuest, those videos will be stored in the user's media library. So they'll be available in the MetaQuest app or in the media library directly on the headset. Okay, that is pretty much everything we need to do to start and stop recording. So if I run this again, and just check my preview, the camera's there. I'm going to toggle the recording, and I'm just going to fire some bullets at roughly where I think the camera is, and I'm going to stop that recording. So if I head over now to the save directory, we should have the video of my little recording there. Okay. So as I mentioned, that video would actually be in the user's media library if you were running this as an Android build. Last thing to do is just to show you a quick utilization. So that's everything you need to get recording up and running. I'll show you now how to toggle the viewpoint. So here, this time I'm going to use our function we created before. And this time I'm going to switch on the current view type. So let's do a switch on BeamXR direct to camera view. I'm going to get that from our direct to camera. So we know we start in static. What I'm going to do is you've got first person object attach options. For this demo, I'm just going to show you how to toggle between static and third person. So if we're in static, which we start at, let's switch to third person. So from here, again, I'm going to set set camera view. Set that to third person, and let's do like we'll change the viewpoint to be direction, which gives us a distance in front. That's what we'll be looking at, and we'll set the we'll give it like a rotation of 45 degrees. So set orbit rotation, set that to 45 degrees, and let's set the look type to be distance, and that'll give us a distance in front of us, which is also configurable. I'm just going to leave it as the default at 200. Now if we're already in static, what I'll do is, if we're already in third person, I'll switch back to static, and I'll switch back to looking at the target directly. That's it. That's everything we need to do to toggle our camera position. You can do more with it if you like. Go wild, but this should give us enough to show you how to get started. So now, if I toggle my preview again, if I toggle the viewpoint now, you can see I'm at a 45-degree angle. That red sphere is a debug option. You can just turn it off. But yeah, we can switch now between a 45-degree third person or a static view, a static position targeting the user. So on this one, if I let's start the recording, and if I move around a bit, you'll see that the camera targets me with some smoothing. Now if I toggle it back to a 45-degree angle, let's pick these guns up, just go for a little wander around, you'll see you should get some smoothing with my position. Now if I turn the recording off, let's have a look at the video it's been produced. We'll see it followed me around first, and then I toggled it again to a third person, and it was looking at my direction. that is everything you need really to create trailers directly from a standalone headset. There's loads more options you can play around with. There's events that come out of the subsystem as well to tell you when a recording has started and a recording has stopped, to control the text on those buttons. But this is the really the quickest, dirtiest way of getting third-person perspectives, different scene perspectives and things in your recordings from a standalone headset, and up to 1080p resolution. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what you guys produce. If you get stuck with anything at all, just hit us up in the Discord and we'll help you out.